Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 22 video where today we are going to be sharing with you our tips and tricks on how you can qualify for FUT Champions Weekend League every single week. Now today's tips and tricks are going to be giving you the best opportunity to improve. Now obviously if you're someone who isn't very good at FIFA and you need to improve, we have already done a video just recently on how to get better at FIFA. This is showing you everything you need to know and how to become a better FIFA player over time. So make sure you do go and check that out if you are still struggling. But without further ado, getting into today's video. So now FUT Champs playoffs. This is what you need to try and get into. Obviously, you need to get in through rivals. Obviously, as you know, the process, you need to get 1,500 points and then it redeems an entry. And then you obviously play your Champs playoffs. And then you obviously need to win 5. You need to go 5 and 4 to obviously qualify then for the weekend league. So there will be some people out there who will be struggling to potentially win 5 games. And this is all going to be dependent on your rank. So here is a prime example of percentage chance of FUT Champs Weekend Leagues. Now these obviously aren't exact, but these are from the majority of people that I have asked. I have asked hundreds of people where they finish last year in FIFA 21, what sort of rank they finished in, and then if they've already completed their playoffs, where they finished. So these were kind of the rough figures that I came up with. So you can see that if you are someone who is like an Elite 3 plus player, you are basically in. You know, you will qualify easily every single time. Obviously, Gold 1, Gold 2, Gold 3. Majority of those people did get in first try. There was a couple of people who finished sort of Gold 1 and struggled to get in and weren't so sure. And then most people that struggled were people that were maybe sort of in the Silver 1, Silver 2 from FIFA 21. So if you were someone who finished in those ranks, you are the ones that might be struggling to get in. But if you're sort of Gold 3 and above, you know, as long as you have matchmaking on your side, you'll be okay. So now the biggest tip that I can give anyone, if you are someone who is struggling to qualify for FUT Champs, is to play on later in the week. Now, as you can see, this is a prime example, and this is an example of days and players. Obviously, you can now qualify at any time. So the majority of people, when the weekend league finishes on a Sunday, that's it, it's finished. Qualification restarts for the next weekend league on a Monday. Now, on a Monday, it's going to be difficult for anyone to qualify because you need to get your 1,500 points again. So most people won't have their 1,500 points. Obviously, you will get points for finishing champs. You will obviously get some qualification points, and then you might not need too many if you're in a high division to get in. But as the weekend goes, as the week develops, more and more of the top tier players are going to qualify early on. Now, I know this from experience. A lot of the really good players will try and qualify as early as possible so they can use the rest of the week to focus on other areas of the game. So if you're someone who is struggling, as we mentioned before, if you're someone who is maybe a Silver 1, Silver 2 player, the best thing that you can do is wait until the last sort of moments of the week. So wait until sort of Thursday, Friday to try and qualify, because this is going to give you the best chance to get in, because all the good players are already going to be in, and once you're in, you obviously can't play the playoffs anymore. So the more good players are going to qualify at the start of the week, that's going to leave sort of just the players who maybe aren't very good. Yeah, you'll still come up against a few good players. There'll be a few good players who will wait until the end to get the easiest possible qualification. Now, the only downside to potentially waiting until the end of the week to qualify is if you do fail, if let's say you wait until Thursday and you've waited to try and get the easier matchmaking and make it a little bit easier on yourself, and you still fail, you're not going to have time to probably get the 1,500 points again to then have another go. So you will only probably get one shot. Whereas if you try and qualify on a Tuesday, you're going to match up against some really good players and you're going to struggle. And then you're going to have to obviously get the time to get the 1,500 points back and then get another go. So if you wait until later in the week, you might not have the opportunity to get the 1,500 points to have a go again. So it's really is kind of one of those things where you do need to obviously give yourself the best chance. And I believe this is going to give yourself the best chance. You're waiting until the end of the week to obviously try and qualify easier. Making sure that you have tactics that are kind of set for all scenarios. So make sure you have a formation. For example, I love playing in the 4-2-3-1 at the moment. Make sure you have a formation that you're comfortable in. This is really, really important, because something that I've struggled with in the past is you try and play in a formation that maybe doesn't suit your style of play. And style of play is very, very important this year. If you pick a style of play and then you don't have a formation that suits it, you really can struggle. So you need to make sure you pick a style of play that suits the formation. But you also need to make sure that when you are playing, you have alternatives. You have a formation that maybe can change a game, you have a formation that maybe you can use to hold on, you have a formation that you can use to try and get back in the game. So you need to make sure you have all of these bases covered as well. But as we did cover before, the fact that you only get 7 entries is going to make it difficult for everybody to try and qualify every single week. And the only thing you can do to make sure that you give yourself the easiest possible time to qualify is, as we mentioned before, is to try and qualify as late as possible. If you're doing that and you have a good squad and you have sort of tactics and that suit you and all styles, there really isn't much else that you can do. You at that point are giving yourself the best opportunity, and then maybe you need to go and revisit our video, as we mentioned before, where it's about trying to get better at FIFA. Because if you're then doing all these things and you're still struggling to qualify, at that point you need to try and get better at the game, because you're obviously just not good enough to qualify for the FUT Champs. So then you need to try and work on getting better. So as long as you follow these tips, as long as you check out our video, you will do you'll give yourself the best possible opportunity to try and qualify for FUT Champs every week. Other than that, there's not too much else you can do to put the matchmaking in your favor and give yourself the best opportunities. But that is it for today's video, guys. So just quite a short one on how to qualify for FUT Champs every week to give yourself the best opportunity. And doing these tips are going to give yourself the best chance to do that. So make sure you do follow these tips and you'll give yourself the best opportunity. Do drop a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. Make sure you do subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.